Well, here's all the guapo and guapas. There's a good haircut. Well, welcome to house 49, I believe. And no, sorry, 48. We're going to build 3 houses in this location, and this is the first one we're going to build. And here's a young man who's just been swimming, and this one too, doing something. I can't believe that one time we filmed in a community like this and somebody complained because one of the children didn't have any pants on. Sometimes that's life. This is one of the other houses that will be built, and the other one is a very poor house. Just a collection of wooden branches and tarpaulin, not much more. Hello. That's Beth in the middle. There's the only one that's wearing a mask. This is interesting for those of you who haven't seen a house built in the Philippines before. You can see the work in progress for the roof. Obviously in the West they have all kinds of elaborate scaffolding, none of which they have here. There's the footwell for here, and there's his builder's belt made of a wooden box. Now that behind the mask must be one of our workers, because he has a builder's belt on, a builder's pouch belt. So this is it. Hand up the timbers. They'll measure, cut to size and fit up in situ. And while working underneath is the man doing the bricklaying. Now that's Beth talking to, I think, the husband of house 48 and some of the children. Now I see some workers that I don't know here, and we'll have hired those local. These are guys who do construction for a living, as you can see. They know just how to do it. Now here, time and time again, people will comment that they don't do the verticals, they don't butter the block. They have those pieces of rebar that are jutting up and go into and come out of every block. That's the rebar reinforcing bar, and they have one that goes horizontally as well, as you can see on that end piece there. But for some reason they don't butter the ends, which I never quite understand. But they have their own way of doing things, and the best way to get things done is to not start acting as if everything that you know from experience is direct from God. None of this work will be done with an electric power tool. It will all be done by the simplest hand tools. So what have you got? A hammer, saw, probably have a hacksaw in there somewhere for handling the rebar, a trowel. I think I saw a level, not quite sure. For getting a lot of this one end of the roof to another, they use that old traditional way. They have a long length of clear plastic tubing which they fill with water. Water finds its own level, and there we have that. I just have to watch my truck, because here the truck is common ownership. As soon as you pull up, kids in a very harmless way will think that they can climb on board and play in the back of the truck, and who knows, maybe inside as well. So I'll close the door. So that's a makeshift ladder there, 2 steps. When a Filipino makes a ladder, it's not for, oh, here I go, being politically incorrect. Look at the stretch of that guy there. It's going from one, shall we call it a rung, to another, and that's over 2 feet, close on 3 feet span from one foot to another, back up. So it ain't for a white man. We'd have to have a proper ladder, we'd have to have scaffolding, and these guys that come out here, there's nothing to aid them. All of this material, all this wood, has come from one simple action. They've located a tree that has the wood that they want. Some of this is used, by the way, which I can see. Some of it's come from our place, which we've donated to this project. But this, whether you can see that even, they haven't chopped it all the way through because it makes it easier to carry and get to the site. But that'll be a simple handsaw job, and they'll separate them as they need. But all of this is done by a chainsaw. They have a 3 or 4 foot chainsaw, cut the tree down, tree falls, and wherever it lays they disassemble that tree. And they know exactly what's needed. They know how many 4x4s they need. They'll have been told it's going to be this measurement, 10 by 15, and they'll cut enough timber to be able to do the job. So they cut all of that, cut the tree down, then they cut the tree into all enough usable different sizes, and they know all of the sizes to be able to build a house. They know what it takes to build a roof. They know what it takes to build the corner support posts. You see that all of those are 4x4, and they do all of that. Very simple. At most 3 tools. They have a string line, they have a chainsaw, and a hammer, and maybe a couple of nails. and they'll do that. And in this case, they delivered for us. When we had stuff done for us at the house, at a local creek, they found a tree which we could own, and they chopped that tree down and it fell across the creek. No difference, still just cut everything up, cut to size, and we had to go down there, pick it up, put it on the back of the bamboo sled of Manorado. There's Rado in the hat there, picking up bricks, or I should say blocks. And Rado hooked his carabao up and brought it to the house. Now you can see simplest tools. And you can see it wobbling there. It gains rigidity as they assemble it, and assemble everything in situ at the top. Have to admire that. And they're working in what I call flip-flops. I call them slippers, and that's what they're working in. And as a young boy, he'll be working on a semi-volunteer basis. We don't actually believe in expecting volunteers to come in and work for nothing, because so much of the time that kid probably has never been able to earn any money other than doing scavenging jobs, and now he's doing that, and we pay him. We pay him because he's working, and he deserves to be paid. In that little shelter there, you can see Beth is sitting with a mask on. That helps you to identify her, and the others are the ladies from house 48. They're here watching this house go up. Somebody recently, Ronald just got through sending me a question, said, doesn't any of these beneficiaries ask how you were able to do this? And the answer is not to my knowledge. They don't ask how. So I think that's a little bit like saying they don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and they're almost afraid that if they ask a question, you'll say, oh, we're not doing it anymore. So no, I don't think that they do. But then if you look at how simply people are living here, the motorcycle is the most advanced piece of equipment that they own. Everything else is very, very low tech, and that motorcycle will do all kinds of stuff. You see, very simple. They've had welded on the back, they've had a foot plate, and that foot plate is so that he can carry probably 2 or 3 full bags of cement or rice, or 3 or 4 people. See, this is padded here, look, and someone will sit on that. And while it could be said that the way that they drive on the road shows that they don't have access to any training for road sense or road I don't know, courtesy or etiquette, first aid, not first aid, they don't have access to that training, so it can tend to be chaotic. It does eventually sort out and into a way of dealing with things, and I very rarely, I can't, tell you the truth, I can only think maybe of one case of road rage that I've ever seen, and that really didn't amount to much. Now, I'm sure that there'll be people who say, you have a cement mixer, why don't you use it? It requires more maintenance and effort to get it here than this does. And that's Rado there, and another helper that's mixing the cement, mixing the sand in with the cement, and they do it very easily. I'm sure that it's hard work. It only looks easy because they're so practiced.